Ravens flock. The flock rundown is the place to be. My man Ryan has been a lifelong Ravens fan since he was born. The flock rundown. Nothing gets better than waking up and wondering how high we can fly. Tune in.
Motionless brainwaves attempt to swim their way to sense, can't tame the untamed.
Appreciate you, Ray. What's up, Ravens fans? My name is Ryan, and welcome back to another episode of The Flock Rundown. The Ravens don't have football on Sunday, obviously, but I wanted to come on here. I've been watching a lot of the film of the game. I'm going to have a couple different episodes throughout the week, just breaking down some different parts of the game and things that I've realized. But this episode in particular is about this two-headed monster that the Ravens now have at tight end and how they are utilizing both of them. In past years, especially last year, it was all Mark Andrews until he got hurt, and then it was all Isaiah Likely. And then the question all offseason's been, can we get both of these guys on the field? If so, how will that look? And we got a lot more information about this last night. This is going to be a problem for the NFL. It's very hard to stop when you're putting 12 personnel out there, disguising a run look, and then you have mismatches with Andrews and Likely. And a lot of people are kind of hating on Andrews and saying, oh, he's not back from his injury, he's not the same guy, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to show you some clips and talk through some plays in this episode that'll show you why Mark Andrews is still Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely is still Isaiah Likely, if not even a little bit better. So the Ravens truly have two starting tight ends, two top 10 tight ends in the NFL, and it's going to be a problem all year long, especially as this run game develops and this offensive line can block a little bit more. The Ravens went 12 personnel 52.7% of the time last night, which is the highest of any game last season. So in week one, we're using way more 12 personnel than we did the entire year last year. There's obviously a focal point to keep Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews out there, and it makes complete sense. You know, you do disguise that heavy run look. You got Isaiah Likely, Mark Andrews, possibly Pat Ricard, Derrick Henry in the backfield. Lamar can always run. Defense is definitely thinking run, or at least it's heavy on their mind. And then you got one-on-ones outside. You got Likely and Andrews with mismatches against linebackers. And in this game, Likely was able to exploit a lot of those because he had a lot of one-on-one matchups. Sometimes guys weren't even covering him out in the flat. If Likely had a chip block and then rolled out to the flat, he was wide open. That's why Lamar went to him so many times. But if you look at Andrews' game from last night, he was getting a lot of attention. He didn't have a ton of opportunities. There were only a few opportunities that Andrews really had to make plays, and two of those were catches. Shout out to Andy Holloway. He put a lot of work in and broke down every single Mark Andrews snap and every opportunity that he could possibly have. As you can see, there were only about 8 possible opportunities for Mark Andrews to even get the ball. He had 2 catches. He also had another catch that ended up being a penalty. And then the other opportunities, Lamar just didn't look Mark Andrews' way, didn't get him the ball. But other than that, he had no opportunity. The Chiefs were making sure that Mark Andrews was not going to be open, especially in the middle of the field. That's why Isaiah Likely towards the sidelines in the flats, quick out routes, was eating all day. He's in one-on-one matchups, and the Chiefs weren't paying a ton of attention to Isaiah Likely, which was obviously a mistake. I mean, whatever, they won the game, but Isaiah Likely went off. Nobody predicted a 9-catch game for 100 plus yards and a touchdown. Should have been 2 touchdowns. And I expect this 12 personnel to continue week after week. I think that this run game is going to get better and better as this line can start blocking better. And then it's just an ultimate disguise having 2 mismatched tight ends out there that can destroy linebackers and safeties. And after looking back at a lot of these plays, Mark Andrews looked strong yesterday. He just had a lot of attention on him. He had a guy near him at all times. It wasn't the smart throw most of the time for Lamar to go to Mark. And you heard Lamar talk about this after the game. He was saying that he was throwing to Likely so much because he was open. You know, that's the best answer ever. Throw to the open guy. Throw to where the defenders are not, to throw to where you have a mismatch. Look at KC last night. They exploited the mismatch against linebackers consistently. Every time across the middle of the field, Rashee Rice lined up against Roquan. Rashee Rice lined up against Malik Harrison. Guess where Mahomes is going? Right there. And it's a lot easier to get linebacker matching up against a tight end like Likely when you're in that 12 personnel, you're disguised a run look, and then Likely's got this easy one-on-one matchup with the linebacker that he's going to win. Shoot, you could even throw the ball up. I think they're coming down with it, but they can definitely get open running routes against these linebackers. And Mark Andrews would have done the same thing if he was in Likely's position last night. And I think that's going to switch week after week. Nobody's just going to let Isaiah Likely get 9-10 catches every single week. You're going to have to start paying more attention to him, and then that's going to free Andrews up for some one-on-one matchups. Mark Andrews is going to be completely fine. He's going to have a great season this year. I think that they may flip-flop and kind of steal dominant days from each other. That could be new. You know, not too often was Mark Andrews starting and Isaiah Likely had a day like he just had. Mark Andrews was out there for 74% of the snaps. Isaiah Likely was out there for 66% of the snaps. So Mark was out there more than Likely, and he looked good. Watch the tape back. I got multiple plays that I'm showing you here that show you that Mark Andrews is still Mark Andrews. He's just not heavily targeted in this game because it wasn't the smartest throw. And the better this run game gets overall, which really starts with the offensive line, I know Derrick Henry is going to be fine. Lamar Jackson obviously is fine running the ball, but the line needs to block a bit better. There's no doubt about it. The run game is struggling. I thought their pass protection got a lot better throughout that game. Early in the game, the line was struggling, but their run blocking was piss poor. I mean, you're just not creating a lot of push, not creating a lot of holes. Henry's running into brick wall after brick wall. So that's going to get better. It has to get better. This is a young offensive line. There's no doubt in my mind that we're just not going to have a great run game. So I think that'll get better week after week. And the more we can rely on the run, it's really going to make it difficult because having a two-headed monster at tight end and 12 personnel out there at the same time, everyone's thinking run. You have to play for the run. And then you got Derrick Henry. Lamar could always pull it and take off. And you have mismatch city with Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely out there. And then you probably got Zay Flowers one-on-one on the outside. So there's so many ways to go. There's so many problems that the Ravens offense is going to cause for the rest of the league. The further I get away from this loss that we just had, the more optimistic I'm feeling, especially when you go back and watch the tape. There's a lot of things to love. There's a lot of opportunities for this offense moving forward. That was the first week. That's basically the Ravens preseason game. They had not played, any of the key starters had not played a snap all preseason long. And that's our first look. Now, like I said, everything depends on the run game. If we can't have a run game at all, which we will. Lamar made that happen on his own. But we need to make sure that we can get Henry going. If that happens, then Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews combo is unstoppable. You're going to run the ball down teams' throats, and then you're going to play action pass and have mismatches against linebackers everywhere. It's going to be incredible. We got a small taste of it with Isaiah Likely going off. Mark Andrews is going to be more involved unless every team wants to play him like the Chiefs did, then maybe Mark Andrews won't be, but Isaiah Likely is going to have the easiest catches of his life. He's going to make plays every single week. So I don't think that's going to happen. Teams are definitely going to shift their attention to both of these guys, and that's going to leave Mark Andrews with a lot more one-on-one opportunities. So I think we can end the narrative of Mark Andrews is not himself and he's still hurt and blah, blah, blah. Watch the tape. He doesn't look hurt to me. I mean, that is his first real game back. I know he came back in the AFC Championship, but he was definitely still hurt then. This is his first real game back, but he wasn't hurt, man. He looked great. He just had a lot of attention. He wasn't really open a ton, and it wasn't like a separation issue. It was the Chiefs dropping back, their linebacker in zone across the middle, the safety coming over the top. It's a bad throw. It's not smart to try and fit that into Andrews when you got Likely chip blocking, rolling out to the flat wide open. So Lamar was making the right reads. Isaiah Likely was open often, and as defenses shift to eliminate those problems, it's going to open more opportunities up for Mark Andrews. So you got a two-headed monster at tight end and a strong run game coming that I don't know how you deal with. I think this is going to be a big problem for the league. I think the Ravens are going to be able to control a lot of games. That was the Chiefs, and they still played really well, but that's probably the toughest game we're going to have all season long. And we're only going to get better. This is a brand new offensive line, essentially. They're going to continue to gel and grow. It's a lot of young guys there. Derrick Henry's first game, Mark Andrews' first game back. None of them played in the preseason. This is the worst you're going to see the Ravens look, and I'm super optimistic about this offense and this tight end duo specifically. And Isaiah Likely's playing so well that he's forcing you to keep him out there, and Mark Andrews is also going to continue to be out there, so it's just two disgusting tight end threats. We've never had a tight end duo like this. I mean, you could flash back to like Ed Dixon and Dennis Pitta. But they ain't these guys, man. I'm telling you, Isaiah Likely, Mark Andrews, both top 10 tight ends in the league, maybe top 5. There's an argument to be had that they're top 5. Isaiah Likely, people slept on Isaiah Likely a lot as a top-tier tight end. He is a top-tier tight end when given the opportunity, and I think they're both going to have the opportunity to shine. Lamar's just going to get the ball to whoever's open. Whoever the defense wants to leave in a one-on-one situation with a linebacker, that's where the ball's going. That's how you should play football. I'm feeling good about everything that's ahead. Lamar looked more explosive than ever. Got to get the run game going. Got to run through Henry. I think that is going to be a key. But the Ravens got a week and a half off before our home opener against the Raiders, which I expect that game to not be close. I think that the Ravens are going to work those little kinks out and issues that they had in the Chiefs game, and they're going to show out at home in a week and a half. We'll talk about that game in detail as it gets a lot closer, but just wanted to come on here, show some film, and instill some confidence into the Ravens fan base that Mark Andrews is completely fine, and him and Likely are going to be a force to deal with for the entire NFL. That's it for today, guys. I appreciate you, as always, for tuning in to another episode of the Flock Rundown. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy football on Sunday, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
Motionless brainwaves attempt to swim their way to sense, can't tame the untamed.